I've had a couple of thoughts that keep showing up. They come from a bunch of different places, but they all generally support the same concept. So what I found is that in 2019, I've really started to try new things more. It seems like it's kind of been my only priority, is to learn new things, to be a beginner at stuff. Some of those things are kind of funny after years of never even having any exposure to blacksmithing or jewelry making, to cooking and or butchering, or going to visit a slaughterhouse. I'm leatherworking. I have all of these. I'm camping, winter camping, and solo camping, and doing bushcraft things, and those are all so wildly new. What I haven't been doing is necessarily documenting any of that or sharing any of that, and it kind of goes against what I believe in my heart is accurate. And so there's a YouTuber whose name I can't remember, but she's from Germany, and she's like a woodworker, maker, and she's badass, and I will try to link to her below. But one of her mottos, which I don't know if I've heard before or if it's like a TM from her, is that the process is the product. And I love that, and it's really resonated with me since I first heard it. And it reminds me of so many things that I know to be true. Like I've always believed, especially once I read it in Rework, on the idea of selling sawdust. What that means in this is like, for Rework, the founders of a software company today is known as Basecamp. It was 37 signals, but they built a product for internal team communication that they went on to turn into a product, and their catchphrase for that is selling sawdust. Sometimes when you do the work of cutting wood, you can look around and see that even the scraps, the bits that you weren't planning to sell, or the product that you were making, have value. They say sell the sawdust, right? So you have these business owners that are making behind the scene video vlogs. That's not the work, it's the sawdust from the work, but it adds value. And I had, in a past life, I sold, in retail. I was selling fashion. I worked for a little while in J. Crew and in another brand, but the things that people, they didn't buy because of the jeans themselves. They bought because of the story that you were able to tell about jeans, or the brand that made the jeans, or the cotton that was used in the Japanese selvage denim in those particular jeans. And you only know those things if the brand that made it shared. And so I don't have anything to sell today. I don't have a clear set or sense of what the end is, but I do know that I believe in selling sawdust. I do know that I believe in the concept that the process can be the product, and I know that the brand really matters. So I guess what I'm going to continue to do as I try and learn new things and push myself to continue to grow and kind of develop this new version of me post 30 is that I'm going to try and document as much as I can and share with as much honesty as I can about what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, what's happening, what what I'm learning, both good and bad, like intentionally learning and learning by accident. And so don't know exactly what this is going to look like. Know that this is the only part of our tiny apartment that gets some sort of natural light. So potentially I use these books as a crutch for content or concepts that have affected me or added value to me. I'm open to, taking any questions as they come in. Not, getting a ton of views is not necessarily the purpose for these, so much as potentially laying breadcrumbs for myself, normalizing the fact that, starting is in fact the most important part, that sometimes building the plane on the way down is okay. Another concept is the idea of, building a car, not a rocket ship. With cars, you can steer and brake and change direction and make incremental decisions as you go. With a rocket ship, you really need to have everything figured out to a kind of insane level of precision, one that I don't know and don't necessarily live with, to launch a rocket ship. And so I will avoid rocket ship preparation and certainty, levels of certainty, and just kind of continue driving slowly. But if you're watching this, please let me know how and what you care to listen to, hear about. I can share really any of the cool new things that I'm learning. I'll break them into big buckets. First would be this idea of wanting to learn butchery, and I guess why I think that's important. I've gone really intense on camping survival, preparedness. Had a really interesting scare a couple, almost months ago now, but it was in January of 2019. The building behind our apartment literally burned to the ground. It was a 5-alarm fire, and that was a big wake up. I read a ton, talk about what I'm reading, why, what has been important there. We're also planning a move. We're leaving New York, headed to the mountains of North Carolina. Glad to talk about some of the reasons behind that. Very uncertain about how it's all going to work out, and that's okay so far. So coming up on 8 minutes, I want to cut it now. Thank you for the attention if you made it this far, and I'll see you in the next video. Gonna come up with like cool intros and outros, but for now, take care of yourself, be good to people.